Hey everybody, it's Sam here. So today's video is a little bit different to start with, but I will get into the papercraft tutorial. So in the description box you will find timestamps. So just have a look there if you want to bypass all of this and just get to the gift bag. So as you probably saw from the thumbnail, I have two bags in my hand because the lovely Teddy Blake company reached out to me a couple of months ago now and asked if I'd like to review one of their bags. Now initially I dismissed it because it's not something I do, and I did say to them that I am a paper crafter and I don't know how a handbag's really going to work on the channel. And then I had to think about it after drooling over the website, and I thought what I could do is recreate one of the bags and turn it into a gift bag. So I have my handbag playlist and I've done designer handbags there, so actually it ended up working out, I think, quite well. So this is the bag here. I got to choose whatever I wanted. The guys are really lovely, been corresponding for the whole time, and the whole transaction was really easy and it actually arrived really quickly. But with my holiday and just work commitments, it just took a little bit longer because the bag did take me some time to construct and just think how I was going to do it all. So this is the lovely box that I received here. It got a little bit bashed, but this has been dispatched out of America, so I'm not too worried about that. Now I have used this. I took this away with me on holiday because for me to do a review on something, I have to use it and I have to wear it for, well, I took it on holiday for a week, so I wanted to really, see how it worked, and I loved it. I knew I would anyway. Having a long career in retail, I have sold many very high-end designer bags as well, so I was kind of thinking, okay, let's just see how luxury these are. So Teddy Blake here, New York, designer handbags made in Italy, luxury leather. Each Teddy Blake handbag has been made with you in mind to be an extension of your unique style and flatter your every fashion choice. Now guess what colour I went for? Because I bet the colour that everybody guesses is not the one that I went for. I still went for a bright colour. So I chose the Ava, it's the orange Ava 9-inch with the gold hardware. Now these are, I think it's really good actually. They say they're luxury at a fair price, which I think is completely true. So there is still a price tag, but you're not talking the thousands and thousands of pounds for a designer handbag. However, this looks, I think, a lot more expensive than it was. Now I was given this, and like I said, they reached out to me and I can't thank them enough because it is genuinely a beautiful bag. So it was really well packaged, bubble wrap, plastic, and then the little dust cover here, dust bag even. And then I've put this back on just to show you how it would look when you get it. So you got your little tag there, but how gorgeous is this in the orange? Oh, there was hot pink, so I did think I was going to go for hot pink. But to tease those of you into the tutorial, this is the one that I'm going to show you to make today. Isn't it cute? Absolutely love making this. But like I said, if you want to go straight to that, look at the timestamps below. But if you want to have a little bit more of a look at this, and let me just tell you a little bit more about the brand, then stay tuned. So inside here, it's very, very cute. You've got two little keys and they all work, and you can lock and unlock the padlock here. You'll see it unclips there. I love all these little details. And again, that just closes, and you've got your little Teddy Blake New York detail there. You've also got it embossed on the front here. You've got beautiful little feet here. I'll link in a picture, or add a picture of me with the bag on. And I did have stuff in here up until, a few minutes ago when I put it all back together again. So inside, wrapped nicely, was the strap here. So you don't have to add the strap, but I wanted, my days of a big handbag are kind of gone. I like a body bag. So I wasn't sure on this one at first because I thought I'm not one to carry a bag like this anymore. But with the strap, that's how I wore it, and it's how I keep it. So these just clip on really easily, and you can adjust it as well. So if you don't want it too long, it's really easy to adjust. So all their leather as well. So it's a premium Italian leather, and it's truly made in Italy as well. You've got a nice zip detail at the back there. You can pop your phone and things like that. I've got a Kate Spade wallet, and it's one of the larger ones, and it fit in here perfectly with my phone. I had sun cream in here. What else did I have? Some makeup, things like that. Now the thing I loved about this the most is the very, I think, genius way that this one opens. So you just lift those two up there, and then it's got a little magnet fastening there, and then you can get into the bag. I just thought that was brilliant. You see all that detail on the side there. Again, you've got another zip detail there. You can see this has been used, and it's got that beautiful, it smells amazing. And again, someone that has well, I own a couple of luxury bags as well, but as someone that has sold them, honestly guys, apart from the name, which is what you pay for most of the time, it's just as good quality as some of my other luxury ones. So it's a beautiful leather bag. So whether you're, you know, wanting to treat yourself, maybe Christmas isn't too long away, have a little look. You know, there's lots of deals on there. They always have some great offers. I have a code as well, which is all linked in the description box. You can find all that information there and head over to the website. There is a ton of bags. This one I think came in about 9 different colors. They have so many different styles. So yeah, if this isn't your kind of thing, but you've maybe not heard of Teddy Blake, have a little look. Let me know also, all of my US fans, if you know of Teddy Blake, if you have a Teddy Blake bag, let me know in the comments. So they've got experienced craftsmen. They use factories where other luxury, higher end luxury bags are made. They have new releases as well all the time, and their designs are really unique. So if you are looking for something a little bit different, then like I said, check out the website. And yeah, let me know what you think. So like I said, I don't do reviews. It's the first one I've ever done, I think. Yeah, it must be the first one I've ever done. It's the first time I've ever been sent a bag anyway. So I just want to say a huge thank you to Teddy Blake for sending me this and for giving me the inspiration to create this beautiful version. So for all my paper crafter fans out there, which is why you follow me, this is the version that I've made. You can see here, it opens just like the other bag, and then it's exactly the same size. So I have copied all the measurements from that bag to this bag here, and I thoroughly enjoyed making this. They all slide back in, and then I've added a little velvet strap here. This is more decorative, and then I've got the little handle there, and I've added the little sentiment there, made with love. So check out all of the information about Teddy Blake in the description box below this video. And now we're going to get into the tutorial, and I'll show you how to make this beautiful gift bag. So there's quite a few bits to this one, but I'm breaking it all down so it should be easy for you to all follow, and the measurements will all be coming up on the bottom of the screen. The embossing folder I've used, so I'm doing this one in black. I've used this Simply Made Crafts. It's a Mock Crox embossing folder, and I mean, I couldn't have got a better match. It's such a good design, and yeah, as soon as I saw the bag, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got just the folder for it. So I'll see if it's still available. As always, products and everything that I've used will be linked below. So first of all, we just make the base, just like the main shell of the bag. So you're going to want 2 pieces that are 9.5 by 7, and along the 9.5 side you want to score at 9, so you've got a 1/2 inch tab, and then rotate, so that's at the bottom, and then along the 7-inch side you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, fold and burnish those score lines, and then in the bottom right hand corner you will have a little square. You want to remove that square completely, and then we just want to cut a little wedge off of each of the sides. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, so you want to do that twice. You also then want 2 pieces of 4.5 by 7, and along the 4.5 side you're going to score at 4. So again, we've got that 1/2 inch tab, and then rotate, so that's at the bottom, and now along that 7-inch side you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Again, fold and burnish, and you will have, again, in the bottom right hand corner, a little square. You want to remove that one, and again, just take a little wedge off of all of the ends there. Okay, so I've already started to do this one now. I've actually changed it a little bit since putting this one together. So with this piece now, and you'll do this on both your pieces of this size, along the top here, so you've got your tab on the right and on the bottom, you're going to come in, just mark with a pencil 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4, and then again, come in from the 9-inch marker, 3/4 of an inch. You now want to score from that marker down to the bottom corner here. So ignore the tab on this one. You're just going to score right down to that corner, and then again from that one down to this corner here. So you can just use your ruler here and a stylus and just sit that one down right down into the corner, and then again, and then just carefully fold them over. So what you want to do now is come out about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom here, and then just cut all the way up. Just want want to give yourself a bit of a tab there so we've got enough to attach it, but we need to create that shape. You see here on the bag it comes up, it just comes in smaller at the top. So again, if you fold this side over, I'm just going to score that a little bit deeper on my scoreboard. It will just make it easier to fold. Okay, so you'll see on this side we don't have as much down here, but that's okay because we can fix that in a moment. So you should have 2 pieces that look like this and then 2 pieces that look like this. Next you want to add your glue all down this tab here, and then you're going to stick this. So just line up that base score line with the other one and then stick that down. If it's out from the top you can always trim that. You always want to make sure the base lines up. Okay, so whilst that's drying, you'll see on this one here, I've started to create this side detail. You'll see what I showed you earlier, all of this here. So it's really easy to do. Once you've done one, you can lay it over the other one and just trace around the slots that I've cut here, but I'll show you it again from scratch. So from the fold here, from this side, you want to come in 3/4, so just along the top here. If you use a pencil you can rub all this out. So come in 3/4 from this side and then ignore the tab. From the 4 inches here, again come in this side at 3/4. Okay, then you want to come down 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch marker you're going to come in here 3/4 again, and then from this one you're going to come in 3/4. So you should have 4 marks that are all 3/4 apart from each other. Okay, the center actually will be 1 inch, but these will be 3/4 apart here and on this side. Then from each of those markers you're going to come down 1 inch, and that's going to be what you cut to fit the little kind of faux leather piece. So that one, so you can rub out those top ones there. So now you're going to cut the slots into all of these ones here. I've got my cutting mat, nice sharp cutting knife. I'm actually not going to use a ruler, I'm going to do this freehand. So if you want to use a ruler to make sure you stay straight, then just lay that down as well, but I'm just going to pull this down like so, and then I'm going to cut just slightly off to the right, like 1 millimeter, and then just remove that. So I've just made a little slot. I'll pop this against a little bit of white card so you can see exactly what I've done. So you can see that little slot there. So just repeat that on all of those. So you want to repeat that now on both pieces. Like I said, once you've done that one, you can just lay that over this one and just draw a pencil line through all those and then cut it, so you don't need to do the measurements twice. So next you want 2 strips that are 3/4 by 6.5. Now I've decided not to emboss these pieces, I quite liked them plain, but again you can see it's these pieces here that we're now creating, and they're all, you know, the same leather with the same Mock Crox. So just add a little bit of shape, just makes it a bit easier for you to start feeding through. So you're going to feed it through the slot that's closest to the fold here, so the inside of it. Bring it right the way down and just hold that with your finger up to the fold there. Okay, next you're then going to go back in on the next one, and then back in again. You might want to do this at 7/8 of an inch. I've done it at 3/4 just so that you had loads of room, but you can see there it's going to move quite nicely. Okay, but if you don't want the slot as big, then you can obviously just reduce that as well if you want. Then I'm just going to take my glue and just add a little bit there and just stick that one down and just give that a minute to dry. Make sure it doesn't go over the fold there, but it's right up to the fold, and by doing that you'll have the same amount overhanging on each side. Okay, when I was cutting these you would have seen it was attached to the other piece. I've taken it off because you actually want to keep these all separate. So I've gone ahead now and cut the slots on the front piece here. You can see where I've just taken it off, it was attached to there, but you want to have these all separate, and that will all be up on the screen, so don't worry. These pieces here are the slots on the front one here, can you see? So you want to come in from the score line 1/2 inch, and you want to come down 1 inch, and then you want to cut 1 inch. So again, if I just hold some white card up there, you can see. So I've come in 1/2 inch from the fold, come down 1 inch, and then cut 1 inch. Or it might be 3/4. You might have done these pieces smaller, you know, so it will vary slightly. And you might not be adding them at all. Okay, so with your 2 side pieces, you want to make sure that you've got this strip coming in from the right hand side where the tab is on this piece, and then on this one it's coming in from the left hand side, but the tab is on the right hand side. You just want to make sure that these pieces here are just both facing inwards, and then we've got all of the pieces to attach, which you'll see there. That was going to go on the top, and then I've got the back piece. So just keep that at the back there. You're going to focus on sticking these two, and then we can thread that around in a moment. So I'm just going to add my glue now all the way down this one here. Because this is the only one I'm making, I'm changing things as I go along the way, so that's why I kind of pulled some of the steps and changed them. So now I'm just sticking this one down, following it right down along the fold there. Okay, and then again with this one here, I'm just going to add my glue all over that piece. Again, keep that all underneath that strip and just sit that one over the top, like so. So I'm just going to leave that there now so that can completely dry. Okay, once you're happy it's dry, you can slide through the strips. On this side here, what I'm going to do, so this is how you can support that bit there, I'm just going to trim away, because what I don't want is the piece here to go over where the slot is. But now I can then add some glue all down here, and then just fold that piece right over. And I'm just going to slide that piece through there. And again, just give that all a minute to dry. I'm going to use my bone folder, but I don't want to push it too much because I don't want to flatten any of the embossed detail. So now we can take the back piece. So actually I'll just bring it out like this. You're going to add your glue all down the next tab. And again, this one now we will fold over. So this piece will end up folding onto this side here, because again, we've not got a lot there to attach it by. So I'm just going to fold it over and just place it down. And just flip it over, trim off any excess there, and just add any more glue you need to. And just make sure that's completely flat. And again, with that final side, I've just added the glue and just stick that all down. Okay, you then want to cut yourself 2-3 pieces, up to you, that are 9 by 4, and flip this over. Make sure all the tabs are folded in. You can see they're all folded in there, and this piece is going to go over the top. You want it to be snug, so make sure it pushes right down, and that will stick underneath. And then when you flip it over, you'll add glue all over this side and put the other piece so they're sandwiched together. Again, using the construction glue on the base will make it really strong, so if you are putting something heavier in there, it's going to hold it. So like, that's why I said 2 to 3 pieces of that size. You could also add like some grey board, chipboard in there as well if you wanted to add even more strength. So I'm just going to push that out from the bottom. So what I'm actually going to do is just turn up those tabs so I can add the glue all the way around. You can do it the other way around if you don't want to do it in this order that I'm showing you. There's lots of steps you can do slightly differently if you want. And then just using something long that will let you get right in there and just spread all the glue and push those tabs onto that piece. So next we need the closure. So this is a piece of 5.5 by 7.5, and along the 5.5 side you want to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, and just fold and burnish that, and then with the rest of it I've just added a bit of a curve to it, just so it's going to sit nicely around the top here, and that those sides are all going to pull in, but you want there to be a bit of an arch on the top. So if you want to create this same design here, we need to come up each side at 1 3/4. So I'm just marking with a pencil there, and again 1 3/4. You then want to come in 1 inch from that marker, and again 1 inch. And then I'm just going to draw a line. Actually, I'll draw a line across. So we've got like a little rectangle in each corner. Okay, so you can see my rectangle there and there. But what you want to do is just, what we're going to do is cut this away, but just come down slightly on a little angle. You see on here, they're slightly angled on the side. Keep them as a right angle if you want. But I'm actually going to just put another little marker at about 1/4 of an inch down. Like so. And then I'm actually going to cut down to that there. Just draw a pencil line across. Okay, so I've just got that slight little angle. If I cut this one first, you can see what I've done. So I'm going to remove the pencil lines. You can rub any out if you still see them, but I've just been a bit lazy. So just cut away. So against my table, can you see the angle that I've got there? Like I said, nothing wrong with keeping it as a right angle. But if you do want it just like mine, then just come down that 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so now we've got our front piece. So if I just lay this over, what you want is so that you can, there's room for these basically. I think it's going to look, yeah, really, really nice. Next, we want to cut these slots here. So I'm going to, from this edge here, I'm going to come in 5/8 of an inch and put a pencil mark. And again, 5/8. Next, you want to put a little marker above this one here, but in line with this one here. So this should be about 1 3/8 high there. So again, I'm just popping a little marker just there. So it's in line with this corner and also with that one that you just added. So now I'm going to cut this the same 1 inch that I've cut all of my other side pieces. So whatever you've cut your side slots, cut it the same as that. So I think what I'll actually do is just draw a 1 inch line. Like so, and then again, like so. And then I'm just going to come in 1/4 of an inch and again 1/4 of an inch, like so. So first I'm going to cut down at 1 inch. Again, use a ruler if you want to make sure you're going to get it straight. And then again 1 inch. I'm then going to cut across the top to that other pencil mark. And again. And then I am going to use my ruler just to join up those two cuts. It should go over that other pencil line. Again, I'll just show you what I've done on this side. Okay, so you can see my little rectangle there. So I'm just going to do that again with this side. Okay, so now we can get this stuck onto here. So I'm going to add my glue all inside the tab here. And then I'm going to lay this one down. And it will be the exact width of the bag. So I'm just lining it up to the fold there. And if I just flip it over, you can see there that fold is right on the back there. So to make this faux hardware here, you'll see it's this piece of metal that's like a U shape on the side. So the way I'm going to replicate that is I've got these pieces of gold here. It's gold mirrored card, and I've cut it to 1/4 of an inch by 1 inch. I've then added about 3 or 4 pieces of black card behind it. So it's a really strong piece now. It's like chipboard. You want to have 2 of them. Now, to get it to come out so I can slide this piece behind, I'm going to add a little bit of foam just at the bottom. And I think that's going to be more than enough to hold it all in place. So I'm just going to cut it in half. So it's like 1/4 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. It's a very small piece, but I think it will do the job. I'm just going to stick it on the back at the very bottom, like so. And just do a little test. What you want is it to slide behind and sit on top of that foam, but be completely behind that piece, which it does. So again, you might have to alter yours depending, you know, if you've changed this width, then, you know, these bits might all have to change as well. So it might vary a little bit for some of you. And then I'm just going to take the foam off the back there. And then just to ensure it's going to really stay in place, I'm going to use just a little bit of the construction glue on the foam there as well. It will take a little bit longer to dry, but it would be worth it. Now, to ensure we get this in place, you want to bring this piece over, and you need to lay these pieces down so they sit through the middle, and this is the easiest way to make sure you line it all up. So that looks good to me. Remove that, and I'm just going to sit that piece right through that gap. So now I can just take that off, and that is exactly where I need it to be. So I'm just going to leave that now for a minute. Okay, and then I'm just going to take that other little piece of foam, stick it on the bottom of this one. And then once that's completely dry, I'll sit that over the top and line up this one the same way. So I've just added the other one there. So while they're drying, I'm going to add the faux hardware onto the ends of these pieces. See here, they've got these lovely metal corners. I'm just going to cut myself a piece of 1/2 inch by the height of this, so 3/4, and then just fold it around the edges. So again, it might vary depending on the sizes of the card that you've used. I'll just show you. I'm just going to use my ruler. You can use a scoreboard if you can actually score it if you want, but I'm just going to fold it roughly halfway, like so. So now that can just go perfectly on the ends there. Okay, and you can see we get that nice effect. Okay, so whilst that's drying, we can add the handle. So I've got this piece here, which is 3/4 by, what did I do here, 10, and I've scored at 1.5 at each end. So 1.5 and 8.5, if you want to do it that way. Fold those score lines. Again, I've embossed it, and then give it a nice curve in between the score lines, so you've got that shape. And you're basically going to stick it in the middle of the kind of brow, or the, you know, the curve of that lid. So if you, I'll show you how this all works. I've just folded those. I kind of pinch the sides just so they don't add too much pressure onto them. So open it up, they line up like so, and then they will slot in behind. So that's your locking, and then you can see where you need to add your handle. That look cute. I'm going to decide whether I want to use Velcro or magnets to just support the closure a bit more. So on this one here, you're coming in about 1/2 inch. So up there, I reckon. And again, about there. Looks good to me. Again, just give that time to dry. And then again, whilst that's all drying, I have made a very cute little padlock. And then this piece here, so this is, to be honest, you can have this longer if you want, but it's not even 1/4 inch wide. It's thinner than that. It's a thin piece by 10, and I've just cut a slit through the middle there. So like I said, this is optional, but if you want to do all those fine details, if I show you on the real one here, so this is what we're creating now. So in here, like I showed you, it's got those lovely little keys. I do have some keys actually, but I think they'd be a bit too big. But you'll see this piece here, and it's got the slots. So just a long piece. I think I cut it to pretty much the same, yeah. And then just cut that slot in the middle there. You'll see how that just goes through. This here, I cut myself a piece of 3/4 inch squared in gold, and then again 2 or 3 times in black, and just stuck them together so it's nice and strong. And then I just got a piece of paper and just drew an arch, just a thin arch, like so, on my gold card, just on the reverse side, and just cut it out and just stick it behind. I'm probably going to end up slightly securing them, and then I'm going to wrap this one around. So if I had a little bit of glue at this end here, like so, pop the padlock through, and then just wrap it around. I might add some gold to the back as well, let's see, or I might just secure it in place. So that's just wrapped around. So now we've got our little padlock, like so. And then I'm just going to, because I'm going to add the other bit after, just in case it doesn't fit through the slot where the keys are. Oh no, I think that's going to work. Oh no, that works really nicely. You can see how it looks when it hangs down. And then that, once the weight's on that piece, you'll see they're both dangled down like so. It's actually the next day, so this is all now nice and secure. So you can see, I'll just move that, lift those out. And you can see how easily it all opens up there. So for these ones here, again, all optional. You may not be adding these pieces, but you want 2 strips that are 1.5 by, it's like just over 1/8 of an inch. They are small, but again, I've gone off the sizes on the original bag. So along that long side, you want to score at 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch and 1 1/4. And what I've done is on the back side, I've just coloured it in black, because it was white colour, and I don't want there to be any white on the bag. You can see there, when it's on its side, you wouldn't notice. So I'm just going to now fold the 2 score lines each side, and you want it to come around like so, so it joins, so it's like a little rectangle. And I'm just going to add some double-sided tape across the back one, so just attach it to the little one there, and then if you just fold those 2, just fold it all flat, so you can see where I've added the tape there across the 2 ends, so it all joins up. Just snip that off. This is for the strap. I'm actually going to be using ribbon on this rather than cardstock. There's going to be no pressure on this. It's completely decorative. I will be holding the gift bag by the main handle, which is nice and strong now. And I probably won't put anything too heavy in it, to be honest. I'm probably going to keep it for a while anyway. I may not end up giving it away. And then you just want to stick this halfway between the handle there. However you do it on one side, just make sure it's the same on the other. Okay, so they're both in place. And then what I want to do is make, I'm not going to have real keys on this, but I want to have this piece here. And I think I'm just going to draw around it. So if I do it at that end, and then I'll give you the measurements. So I'm just going to pop it down like so, and just lightly like so. And then I'm just going to fold in half this piece here. So it's 2.5, so you want a piece of 5 and then score it 2.5, so just fold it in half. But the width is 1 3/4, and it kind of tapers slightly towards the top. But by folding it in half, I can just, again, trying to make as little work really for myself, but just show you the processes of doing these things. So if you've got your own, you know, handbag and you want to copy some of that design, you can draw around things. So there we go. And then what I'm going to do is just use my cutting knife and just cut a little slot in the middle, just big enough to fit the other end of this piece here. That can just slot inside. And I want to make it a little bit padded, so I think I'm going to add some of these foam tabs just inside. If I just add a little bit of glue just to attach that one in place like so. I'll pop another foam tab over the top, and then just a few, so it kind of looks like there's keys in there, but there's not. Take the tape off of there, and then I'm also going to run some glue just down these 2 edges or 2 sides, but leave the bottom open, and then close that up. And if I stick down the sides, I've got a little bit of bulk. Just close it all up, and that now should hang quite nicely over the top. What I might do is I'm going to add a little glue just so that kind of sits on the front. Okay, so to add a little bit more luxury, I'm going to use some of this velvet ribbon here, and it's about, well, it fits through there, so it's just under 1/2 inch. Yeah, it's in between 3/8 and 1/2 inch. So I'm just gonna, I just cut off the end there, and I'm just gonna seal that up just so it doesn't fray, and then just loop it through. And again, like I said, it's all decorative. You could use hot glue here if you want, but this is a quick grab glue. It's pretty good on fabric. So I'm just going to loop that around. Just hold that in place for a minute. Okay, and then it's up to you how long you want this to be. Like I said, it's all decorative. It's just going to kind of just drape down. And I'm going to add some of the gold mirrored card onto this for some more faux hardware. So I'm going to do, I'm just going to have it so it can drape down the back there. So snip it off about there. Again, just seal it on the other end. Okay, and then I'm going to just take some more gold and just going to cut a thin strip, kind of the same kind of width as this little bit here, but this is just going to wrap around the ribbon. So I've added the other little gold strip there, and I've also just punched, just using my hole punch, 3 little circles there just to look like the little poppers that are on the original one. I also forgot to add or emboss the cardstock here, so I just went over that. And then what I've done is I've heat embossed Made with Love, because on the front of this one it's got the, because on here you can see the Teddy Blake New York, and I thought it'd be nice if I had Made with Love, then it's going to work for any occasion. So whether I decide to give this to my sister for Christmas, for example, with a nice Christmas tag on it, the Made with Love's just going to work for all occasions, and I think it just sets it off perfectly at the bottom there. So I was going to pop it up on some foam, but I think I'm going to keep it flat so it looks like it's in the bag, embossed like the original. If there's one thing I would have changed, when I attach the handle here, the tabs here are completely flush with the bag. I think I would have added some black foam so it was raised, because again, if you look on here, you can see it's quite thick, and I kind of like that. So I mean, that's me just being picky, but if you did want to do that as well, then just add that before you stick it all down. I'm just going to line this all up. This sentiment here is from my Made to Surprise baby stamp set. It's a really cute little set actually, but it's got that nice Made with Love in the bottom there. So I'm just going to stick that down. Okay, so that's the finished gift bag. So I'll just pop the handbag next to it there again, just so you can see them side by side. It's exactly the same size, and I think it's a really cool replica. I've loved making this one. Again, another thing I've not added is the gold feet here. If you've got anything like that, some of the wooden, you can get a lot of like wooden embellishments. You could heat emboss those with gold embossing powder and then use them. I have actually used those kind of feet in other handbag tutorials, so I have done it before. The other thing I didn't add as well is the zip on the back, but there are some dies that do this detail for you, and I'm sure Helen, Simply Made Crafts, she's got some, so I will link those below for you. But I have thoroughly loved making this. I think it's a really good replica in paper of this bag. Like I said, check out the Teddy Blake website. They've got so many gorgeous handbags and other things on there as well, and you might get some more inspiration and, you know, make some different kind of gift bags as well. But I am so pleased I've got this one. I'm going to pop my purse and my bits and bobs back in that again, and this one for now I'm going to just enjoy and keep it in my craft room. And like I said, if I do decide, or maybe one of my friends sees it and wants to give it to one of their daughters, and I might give it away. As always, thank you so much for watching today. I will link as much of the product that I've used in the description box below this video, along with all the information about Teddy Blake. Thank you again to them for sending me this gorgeous handbag. I really, really love it. And I'll have some more of my handbag tutorials coming up now, so you might want to go and watch one of those next. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it as well. It really does help out the channel. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.